I'm Michael with Joto Imaging Supplies, and this is a dye sublimation tutorial video for one of our most popular products and how we recommend you make it. So today we're going to be covering 11 and, for all intents and purposes, the 15-ounce pearl coat mugs and how to make them in our 5-station mug press. The advantage of this, both the product and the machine, is that you're able to get it as fast and as efficient a process as we actually have here in the store. So let's start with how to do it and go as fast as possible. So these are 11-ounce pearl coat mugs. They come in cases of 36, and to process them as quickly as possible, grab here at the corners of the bags that they come in, and just pulling like that, you can get them out super fast. So there's no point in taking them all out one at a time and taking them out of the bags. Just taking at the corners and pulling them out will work just fine. Now, there's a sticker on the bottom of each of these. There's a couple of different ways to get that sticker off. The first is to take like a hair dryer or perhaps a heat gun. I use a hair dryer for myself at home. Hold it over that for just a moment, maybe 5 seconds at the most, and then it will peel away more easily. If you keep it in a cold place, you'll probably need to give it a couple more seconds, and it will be a lot harder to take off the colder the place that it's stored in. Yeah, then you just get underneath it with your fingernail and it should come off once it's warm quite easily. The other possibility is to, after it has come out of the press, you can peel at it as well. You'll want to really watch you don't burn yourself in those situations, and yeah, it's probably easier to do it ahead of time. Once you've got that, the next step is getting your image over it. So obviously your image is going to go face down on your mug. You should of course have your image mirrored in your whatever graphic design program it is that you're using, but that should be straightforward for you, especially if you've done this before. So if you haven't done it before, something to recommend right away is the way you cut it. You want to cut it basically to the size of your image. Even if your images are different sizes, get a rough outline of the border of your image. The reason is simple. You can't see the image from this side as you're placing it, but if you've cut roughly to the borders of your image, you should be able to have a fair idea of where your image is as you're placing it. For these, if I have smaller images, I like to do one on each side. That way I'm getting one for righties and lefties. For larger images, we'll probably place that straight in, centered against the handle. Now that we're ready for all that, let's move over to the 5-station press and we'll take a look at just how efficient and effective you can be on it. All right, for step one, we want to make sure that our heat press is actually set and has the proper pressure to do our 11-ounce mugs. I'm doing this while it's warm, while they are warming up, but that's going to be too tight, so I'm going to have to loosen that one up to get in here. That's actually going to be too loose, so I'm going to have to tighten that one up. And that one's also going to need a little bit of tightening. So let's take a look at how to do that. So it's really straightforward. Here at the back, I've got a twist bolt here that I'm going to have to loosen, and then this black round head here, it's a simple matter of twisting that. So I'm going to loosen the bolt, which will allow me to then turn the black knob, and then I'll simply turn the knob to the right to tighten it, and to the left in order to loosen it. And I will look for basically the kind of pressure I have here. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means I'm in there, I'm closing it, and it is firm, but I'm not hauling back on it. If I am too loose on my pressure, I'm not going to get an even clear image because unfortunately the ink will be able to wander and also isn't pressed right up against it, and as a result it will be dull. If I am too tight, there is a chance for me to damage my element, especially because part of my element will literally seep over the top and bottom of the mug, and with enough repetition that can destroy the element. Now, again, I want to reiterate, it should be firm, even just a little tight. But if you're pulling back on it any harder than that, that's too much, right? Good way of indicating is, does it move at all? No. Is it firmly in place? Great. Do I see this element sort of pushing well over, like a full millimeter over the lip? That's definitely too tight. I've seen people do it, so watch out for that, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and adjust these so that we can continue, because I want to show at least 4 off at a time. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, so what we have now are 4 of our 5 stations ready to go. Now, at home, I actually only run 4 stations, but if I want to push myself, I can get to 5. The reason I run 4 is because 36 and 24 and most of my orders are, in fact, a derivative of 4. So when I get to 5, 36, it's not an even number, and I always just find it works. But if I was doing, you know, large or continuous runs, I would always be working with 5. And in terms of the time and the energy that goes into running 5, it's actually pretty close to the same. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw one of these mugs into this press, and I'll show you that in the time that it takes this mug to finish in this press, I'm going to be able to prepare 4 more. We'll probably speed that one up, but you'll get the idea. And then we'll come back and show how 4 running at a time can be actually quite quick. You're going to be under 1 a minute, which if you've ever used a single station or a dual station, you understand that is, well, it's a dream by comparison. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, so I've started with 1. You know, these actually do heat up quite quickly, and about the time it would take to prepare, I would say 10, you would have these now up to speed. So you would have about a backlog of 10 finished and taped mugs ready to go by the time you heat these up. And then once you're ready to go with that, especially on larger runs, you just fill these up, and in between, while these are actually being processed, you're on a different station taping and readying your mugs. We're going to show you how that works at this end, just to give you an idea of what the timeline and the flow looks like. So we'll start by popping this one in. And I'm going to get to work. I've got some images right here. Takes a moment to get it center. You'll notice I'm not rushing. No point in rushing. Rushing actually ends up making more mistakes than just taking your time to do it right. I admit that I am sort of cheating by using my auto cutting tape dispenser, which, by the way, if you have ever done large runs, you'll end up wanting one of these. I do find that it cuts pieces that are larger than I want, but it cuts them easily, one-handed every time. They're consistent and easy, and boy, I love that. All right, I'm looking now. Where am I at? Oh, I've still got 151 seconds. So even going slow, I'm already well ahead. And since I've got the mug that I was testing it on that's still warm, I'm going to let it cool and do it last. Yeah, it's cool enough that it's not too big a deal. But I've still got, well, over a minute. So you can see that in terms of workflow, somebody will be able to, as long as you've got your stuff pre-cut already, someone will be able to keep up with the taping and positioning on your mugs while running, you know, the full 5 stations on this press. Now, while I've got you and I've got, you know, 75 seconds or so, this mug press is a fantastic tool for large runs. It will run 11 ounce, and as long as you make sure that you have the right size element, it will also run 15 ounce mugs. I personally at home, I run the 15 ounce and my customers love them. The Pearl Coat mugs, there's literally nobody else that can compare to the quality you can get off those. Mental note, there are in fact 5 separate plugs at the back of these stations, so you will need some kind of a power bar or something like that to plug those into before you go into your wall outlet, but it will run on a standard wall outlet at 110. What else? You're going to want a wrench so that you can adjust it, and this thing does in fact like have a press counter. Everything is digital on here in terms of your time and temperature. It heats up incredibly quickly, like most mug presses. It is super easy to use, and most of the time, if something, you know, minor happens or goes wrong, it's actually super easy to fix on your own. Here we go. So now I'm going to run this out. I see the result. I love it. I put it somewhere to cool. And now I just go in here and I go, hey, there's 1, 2. That might be a little too much pressure, but it should be all right. 3. Okay, now I've got to make sure I do this as quick as I can. Oh, shouldn't be a problem. Looks pretty good like that. Straightforward and easy. And 4. So you would normally, as I said, if you're doing larger runs, run 5, but 4 is a nice, easy pace, and when you're doing 24 or 36, you're going to get an even number as you're doing it. It ends up being a nice workflow. In terms of the kinds of results you can get out of it, well, here's a pretty fantastic example that just came out of the press, and that's using, you know, our paper here at Joto, the inks that you would get from a sawgrass. In this case, it was an SG 1000, my personal one at home. Oh. And yeah, let's come back in something like 150 seconds and we'll show you the results. All right, so we're getting close. Let's pretend that these have actually got images on them. I don't actually want to image these ones, so there aren't any images on them, but you'll get to see the workflow. 3, 2, 1, pop. So what I'll do is I'll pull this off super quick, get rid of that, find a place to put it. This one gets popped in, this one's ready. You can hear them going off. Don't let that bother you. They can be in there for a couple of extra seconds without it ruining them in any way. Oh, I really like the results on this one. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We'll show you some results in just a minute, but there we go. This one gets in there, pop. Now this one is ready. Oh, I think all of them came out beautifully. Look at that. And then this one, which would, theoretically all of them would have images on them, and pop, they're ready to go. I go back to my workstation and tape away, getting the next batch ready. I probably got about 10 done while they were heating up, so I do have a backlog so that if I only get like 3 done on this particular time, I can take one from my backlog and I'm still going to be fine for even a long run to get it right. In my experience, I'm actually able to get more than 4 or 5 done in the time that it takes to heat them, image them. So for the most part, you're going to be having a nice, perfect workflow. Maybe you'll catch a breath or two in between, but for the most part, you can be humming along pretty much at pace for as long as you need to, for as long as your run is. 5-station mug press. I have one myself at home. I've been using it for years. My customers love it. I'm heating up mugs with no images, so I'm going to stop that and turn these off. But yes, it can't be beat. It can't be beat for the efficiency. I mean, yes, it can. You can have 2. I love it and have been using it for quite some time. Strongly recommend it. I hope you found this useful. I'm Michael with Joto Imaging Supplies. Please like and subscribe if you like this video. Please tell your friends if you really liked it. And hey, let us know what it is you're interested. This was in fact a customer request. For any of our customers, or if you're not yet a customer but are thinking about it, you want to send a request, hey, would you do it for us? The answer is yes, we would. So please let us know. Again, I'm Michael. You have yourself a great day. Bye now.